Now let's start with politics. We're told that the former Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, wants the world's largest international police organization, Interpol, to investigate Ghana's voters register, which the NPP believes is bloated with foreigners. Now, he reiterated the party's claim that pictures of these foreigners were scanned and later placed on Ghana's voter roll. Now, let's listen to him speak at the forum organized by the IEA.
The biggest issue is that the register and the whole EC outfit have been compromised. When the outfit has itself been compromised, when the corruption is systemic, it has hit the system itself, then of course it is not just a matter of correction, it's a matter of abandonment and doing the process afresh. The evidence showed scanned pictures which have found their way into the register, and we are saying that they were not taken by EC cameras. You will realize that it is part of the process that EC cameras should take all the pictures. That itself brings a format. People have done research and they have seen scientifically some of these pictures were scanned and placed back into the register. They were still pictures. They were not what the experts call active pictures in a live environment. Now, these are very serious allegations. They can be proved right or otherwise. Forensic examinations prevail in the world. If we don't have the expertise, foreigners can help us. This is a matter where Interpol should come in. In fact, we expect that by this time, these matters must have been handed over to the police already. Some people are alleging such serious criminal offenses in a matter that touches and concerns the very essence of the republic, the people's choice as to who should govern them. These are verifiable. As of today, nobody has come to make any police investigation or ask any questions on them. Nobody has been invited. No step has been taken. It is as if we don't care what happens to the EC database. And if it is said that a non-active environment pictures have been stolen into the EC database, then of course the mechanism is such that one can go and dump names on the register, and there's a need for very, very serious steps to be taken in this regard.
Well, let's stay on this particular issue of the forum held by IEA on the call for a new voters register a bit longer because of the fallout. Let me speak to Dr. Evans Agredako of the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. Dr. Dako, we're grateful for your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bryce, for the opportunity.
Great. So let's start from here. We're trying to build a consensus towards whether we need a new voters register or not. Now, this forum organized by the IEA was attended by almost all political parties. But the ruling government, the NDC, the ruling party, simply, though agreed to go, refused to be part. Now, your initial comments on this?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bright. Democracy thrives on consensus, as you said. Even though some people think that there's also lack of consensus in a democracy, and it's a majoritarian rule fundamentally. But you see, there's this. I always argue there's this EU democratic imperative that those who are affected by a decision must have a way of influencing that decision. You know, under the Fourth Republic, I think what we've done very well as a people is that we've always tried to build consensus around the key things that will define our destiny as a people. So we've had IPAC from '94. We've been able to deepen our democracy, strengthen the rules of the game, because the name of the game is evidence, or the name of the game really will be the rules that will govern the systems that we all operate under. It's in line with the basic principle of any democracy, which is rule of law. So the electoral procedures, electoral laws that we have in this country arguably one of the best that we can have on the continent, or we have on the continent. So that's fundamental. I think the key thing will be also to build certain consensus around the key things that, as I said, would define our destiny. And so voters register, which has become a very, I wouldn't say controversial, it's a really defining instrument in any election. Of course, it defines who can vote and who cannot vote. It gives us an idea of how many people are even on the register, etc. I take this issue as very critical because the right to vote and to be voted for me, right, is a priceless right. And therefore, we don't have to fulfill that arrangement that anybody at all will have the capacity to vote. But it is a right that we must protect and must guard jealously as a people. I mean, for me, if you take that right away, the others that others can share in, and so on and so forth. So, of course, it gives us the opportunity to even plan how many polling stations we'll have. It gives us the opportunity to know how many people we can employ on election day to monitor the processes and preside over the electoral processes and so on. It gives us an idea of who ultimately wins the vote, and perhaps how many people turn out, the voter turnout among others, for purpose of analysis, and how we the issue of participation. Participation in politics is important, but I tell you that one of the critical issues of participation, or major forms of participation, is the right to vote, and that is why we don't have to belittle the whole process at all. The candidates, yes, various political parties, various stakeholders decided to attend the forum as a way of also building consensus around whether we should have it or should not have it. If you listen to what the ruling party has indicated, they are saying that they don't have to be trumpeting the same ideas all over again. There is some merit in their position. I think what they are saying is that, look, we have 29 or so slated, or fixed by the EC, the Electoral Management Body, to as it were, listen to arguments for and against and various positions, and then really we decide whether we need a new voters register or not. But that will not prevent any think tank or any group of people or any critical stakeholders within the state to also see, to as it were, gauge the waters and know the terrain, know the temperature, and know the prevailing perspectives and how we can shape our own perspective going into the decision ultimately from I believe after the meeting on the 29th.
And so
this month, yeah.
Dr. Daku, so you, for instance, don't mind these same political parties are supposed to meet the Electoral Commission at the end of the month. So you think that the IEA bringing them together perhaps is part of the process?
Yeah, it could be part of the process. I would have thought that if the IEA really wanted to do it, for me, I would have suggested that if in fact I had any way of suggesting, I would have suggested that they may or they should have brought independent individuals or independent actors, not necessarily political party representatives. You could bring academics. For instance, if political science department decides to have a press conference, for instance, on the elections or on the voters register, it will not be seen as perhaps the same actors coming together, and debating the issues. That would be different. Or if another maybe the department in maybe Kumasi or Kamakuma University of Science and Technology, or any department in UCC or Cape Coast or Winnipeg or whoever, if they decide to meet, or any of the think tanks decide that we want to have this debate, but we bring other actors other than the political parties. I think that would have, because the political parties will have a major position or major stake when it comes to the 29 that we're talking about. So for the ruling party, they thought that they were spreading themselves too thinly and trumpeting the same ideas and so on. Even though generally we would think that it is part of the consensus building towards the decision as to whether we actually need a voters register or not. I would have thought that we would give more at this time, at this point in time, we'll give more opportunity to maybe independent thinkers to interrogate the issues and then tell us the merit and demerits of maybe having the positions that the various political parties are holding. Yes.
Okay, now let's come to what was said at the forum, where a former Deputy Speaker of Parliament is suggesting that what is being alleged, the pictures, the scanned pictures, alleged scanned pictures of some foreigners on Ghana's electoral roll, borders on criminality, and so Interpol should come in and investigate. Now, some have suggested that we simply don't seem to know what really is the problem with our voters register. What do you make of what the former Deputy Speaker of Parliament said?
Well, my former teacher, of course, if you look at the electoral processes, the electoral, the procedures, the rules, the legal framework governing our elections, in every society that will endure, that will prosper, that will be enterprising, is governed by rules. Basically, because you and I, no matter how good we are, and to quote Aristotle, we cannot be as good laws. And what for me, the laws are good because they have the quality of impersonality. They apply religiously to all manner of persons. That's important. And that is why in any serious democracy, rule of law is cardinal to the existence of that state. And then, of course, we are the rules. Then those who seem, or those either wittingly or unwittingly, decide to flout the laws of the land. For me, somebody who teaches political theory, like literally, those people are at war with the state. Being at war with the state means that you want the state, you want to undermine the sanctity of the state. That's why you are flattering the procedures. Because if you decide that you get yourself onto the register, unconventionally, what I'm saying is that all the advantages or the key utilities that I alluded to earlier on as the value of the electoral register, you are going to undermine it as an individual who perhaps does not qualify, but you put your name there. And so for me, if anybody decides to flout the laws of the land, that person is at war with the state. And being at war with the state means that the state will have to take steps. It is not for nothing that we always say that the state has a monopoly over the use of legitimate force. The use of that legitimate force is literally to force you and I to be free. To quote, J.J. Rousseau, forcing you and I to be free. So even though we are born free, everywhere we are in chains. But in the state, the chains of the state are legitimate because the chains are used to constrain the behavior of people. So for me, I will support any action taken by the state to make sure that the rules of the game are observed religiously so that we maintain the sanctity of the individuals. Otherwise, we'll relapse, we'll go down the slippery slope of the Hobbesian state of nature, where might will be right and not just the law. So we need to take steps, and those who have undermined the system, why not? Will not say that we should use this or we should use the legitimate the arm of the state which is available to us, the punitive measures which may be available. First and foremost, to deal with those who have undermined the processes, and then of course to serve as deterrent, because we don't have to incentivize people in this country to continue to undermine the systems that we have created for ourselves. Then it will be a hopeless situation for all of us. So we need to continue to move on, and then of course those who have undermined the system, why not? If the laws apply, so may be, and so that we then continue to sanitize our system and build an enduring democracy which revolves around the rule of law and not arbitrariness or rule of men.
Well, grateful for your time tonight. Dr. Evans Agredako is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana.